Have you ever looked at a child and used the word innocent to describe the child and seen wonder and eagerness in the child's face and said to yourself, I long to go back to that innocent, pure, non-resisted time? And we're here to tell you that you don't go back to it, you go forward to it. Because the contrast has caused you to put it over here in your vibrational escrow. It's over here in this vortex of creation. And you can return to it. You can return to it by caring about the way you feel. So your emotions let you know whether you're moving toward it or away from it, this vortex of creation. And today, we're going to make this analogy as strong and clear as we can, because we want you to look at your world, any aspect of it that is important to you, through the lens of being inside this vortex, which means you're tuned in to the wholeness of who you are, or outside this vortex, which means it's you in your physical form, but you're out here on the raw and ragged edge without the benefit of full connection to the whole of that which you are. You see, law of attraction swirling and attracting all cooperative components. But if you're over here complaining, you're not a cooperative component. But if you're hopeful, now you're close to cooperative, and every now and again the vortex will bring you in. When you're believing, the vortex brings you in every time. You have a thought, you believe it, in you go. When you're in the vortex, that means you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, in full realization of the fullness of all that you are. And when all that you are is pouring through you in this focused moment, it is a wonderful moment. You're vital and alive and clear. You feel good. All of your pieces of your body are moving the way you want them to. You're metabolizing, your muscles are firing, your brain is responding and transmitting to the signals. In other words, when you are tuned in, you are thriving in every sense of the word, and life is good. You feel frisky, you see. So when you're tuned in like that, whatever you look at from inside the vortex looks different than it looks when you're outside the vortex. When you're outside the vortex, you're tender and often sensitive, and the world is pricklier to you. When you're in the vortex, you feel security. When you're out of it, you feel insecure. When you're in the vortex, you have clarity. When you're out, often you're confused. When you're in the vortex, you are accessing the energy that creates worlds. We're not kidding you one bit about that, which gives you a leverage of time and productivity that you cannot even come close to achieving outside the vortex. Don't you see so many people beating their brains out, working so hard, putting in long, long hours, sacrificing, suffering, and getting so little for it? And you say, oh, this world surely isn't a fair world. And then you see others relaxed and basking and thriving. And you say, this is not just. I've been taught that you have to work hard to achieve. And we say, if you're working hard from outside the vortex, you're not achieving. And if you're working from inside the vortex, it doesn't feel like work. You're working, playing for the joy of the experience and the response of the universe, of the abundance of well-being as it showers down around you, is indescribable. People from outside the vortex will demand that it is not just, and they will say, we need to even this out. We're going to take your pie and distribute it among the others. And if you are in your vortex, you say, that's all right with me, because there's a steady stream of everything that I want flowing to me. It does not matter how much is expended. You could tax me 90%. And I would still continue to thrive because abundance flows to me. It's my requests for what I want that keep it flowing to me. Tax me higher, my gross will just soar. It does not matter at all. But if you're outside the vortex and they're taxing you more than you want, you say in your shortage consciousness, but wait, I hardly have enough for myself, and you're going to take it away from me and give it to someone else who doesn't deserve it? When you get into the vortex, you feel the showering of abundance in such powerful ways that you don't worry about what anybody else is doing about anything ever, because you've made your contract with Source itself. You've come into alignment with the power of the universe that defies all others. When you are in alignment With Source, you are more powerful, more influential than millions who are not. In other words, there is just no comparison to the leverage of well-being and abundance and clarity that you find when you're in the vortex. So that's our sales job about getting into the vortex. And the rest of the day, with the help of those like you who want to clarify different subjects, we're going to, as often as is as practical, show you by demonstrating with them how to get into the vortex. Because every one of you has created a vibrational reality, a vortex of creation. And the most powerful words that you will ever hear, and the most important concept that you will ever come to grasp is this: you have created the precursor to all manifestations that you desire in this vortex of creation, in this vibrational reality. And everything that you know that has been created, including the planet that you spin on, was at one time a vibrational reality. So this vibrational reality exists, and in terms of time, the proximity is anywhere from instantaneous to not in this lifetime, depending upon how long it takes you to get into the vortex. But there is no reason for you as humans to ever need to develop a stance of patience. Patience is only necessary for those who hang chronically outside the vortex. When you're in the vortex, you don't need patience, because when you ask, it is given, and there is the path. And when you ask, it is given, and there is the path. And when you ask, it is given, and there is the path. And when you ask, it is given, and there is the path, 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 and you're saying, oh boy, is my life fun. I have a passion for life. I have a passion for life because the path is laid before me constantly. And when you can see the path, you feel passion. When you can't, it doesn't feel so good. We're eager to talk with you about anything that matters to you. No order of business. Everything is appropriate. You will feel a perfect unfolding. We're going to call you into the vortex as often as we can. And in fact, those of you who we play with here will be those who have clear desire and a close enough proximity to the vortex that it won't take all day to bring you in. Begin right here, yes. Do you accept that you were non-physical energy before you came into this body? And do you understand that you didn't just blunder in? Do you get it that some sort of creation was happening from that non-physical vantage point before you got here? In other words, can you see that there was a vibrational essence of the very you that was born into your physical body before the you that was born into your physical body was the you that was born into your physical body? In other words, pre-paving was happening even before you got here. And now we just want you to understand that while you are here, now from your vantage point, you are pre-paving your future experience still. In other words, Source is still still very much in on what's happening to you next. Only now, instead of just non-physical projecting pure positive energy into the creation of you, now you in your physical form are projecting the creation from where you stand. First time we've said it to you that way. We want you to understand the creator that you are. So, here you are in your physical body, knowing what you don't want, which helps you to know what you do want. And every time you synthesize or sift through this wonderful contrast, you build or create this future manifestation, but present vibrational you. You get that? Future manifestation, but current vibrational you. And we're going to call this vortex of creation. We've been calling it your vibrational escrow, your vibrational reality. We just want you to get the sense that you are projecting you forward, and the non-physical part of you already went. In other words, when you're sick in your physical body, you ask for wellness, and the non-physical vibrational version of you accepts that wellness immediately and becomes it. Everything that you know as reality was vibrational reality first. And you, because of your emotions, have keen access to your relationship between where you stand right now in your physical, manifested this far body and who you have really become. We wrote a book a few years ago, and we gave it the best title that was ever given to a book. It was called Ask and It Is Given. And it tells that story, that when you ask from your contrasting experience, when you ask, it is given in such a full sense that the non-physical part of you literally becomes it. So whenever you feel negative emotion, it always means one important thing to you. It means you haven't yet become it. When you ask, it is given, and the source within you becomes it. But if you feel afraid, if you feel angry, that negative emotion is your indicator you're not up to speed with what you have become. This vibrational reality is the precursor to everything that you know as a full-blown manifestations. So when life causes you to ask for an improvement, it becomes immediately, and all cooperative components are assembled. The question that we want to help you to discover within yourselves are you a cooperative component? Are you a cooperative component? So as Jerry leaves things in the car out of Esther's purse, or takes things out of her suitcase and doesn't get them back in, and Esther launches rockets of desire, I like to keep my things with me. I like to know where they are. I like them to be where I last left them. And it works both ways with them and all of you. As she launches those rockets of desire, law of attraction assembles all cooperative components. Now, if Esther looks at Jerry and announces to herself and to the world, and especially to him, that he is not a cooperative component of what she wants, then Esther is also not a cooperative component to what she wants. In other words, what she wants and what she's getting are vibrationally miles apart, because she's not a match to what she wants. Now, she could justify all day, every day why she's not a vibrational match, but that is beside the point. And that's what we want you to hear. Of course, sometimes you feel utterly justified in your stance as you push against what you do not want. We just want you to know that every time you're doing it, every time you're talking about it, every time you're complaining about it, every time you're feeling negative emotion about it, you are an uncooperative component to what you do want. And as long as you remain, no matter how justified you are, everyone on the planet, we could take a vote, who's right, who's wrong, who's right, who's wrong. In this room, 50% would say Jerry's right, 50% would say Esther's right. Well, maybe not quite that. How many men are there? It's beside the point. It does not matter. It does not matter how justified you are in pointing out that something is not happening the way you want it to. You still are using it as your excuse not to be in the vortex. And we want you to understand that your work as a deliberate creator, your work as a deliberate creator, the only thing that you need to give conscious attention to is your relationship to this vortex, which contains all things that you've been asking for. Just get in the vortex. We could have had a very short seminar today, couldn't we? Hello, it's nice to see you. You are lovely people. You are worthy. The source within you adores you. You are pure positive energy. Get in the vortex. Have a nice day. Goodbye. It's really all you needed to hear. And then someone says, wait, don't go. What's the vortex? Well, the vortex is the future you that you've created through sifting through the data of life. Have a nice day. Goodbye. You say, wait. The vortex is a future me. Well, how do I catch up with the future me? We say, by focusing in the direction of what feels good. Have a nice day. Goodbye. And you say, wait. How do I know? How do I know what feels good? And we say, you gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding. You know what feels good and what doesn't feel good. You know what feels better. You know what thoughts bliss you out and what thoughts bum you out. You know which friends you like to spend time with and which friends you don't. You know what conversations you want to have with each other and what conversations you don't want to have. You know, you can tell what you're leaning to, what feels good and what doesn't. Your guidance system is active within you, you see. And something that you all know that is a really wonderful thing to acknowledge, you know who you are. You know that you're source energy in physical bodies. You know that you're creators. You know that you have access to the energy that creates worlds flowing through you. You know that you have an emotional guidance system. You know that your emotions indicate your relationship with who you